A very common question that I get asked is how to take bigger rips. It's something that I mention a lot when talking about how to get higher, but something that people need to know is how to take bigger rips. Now, I think I've had to delete a couple videos on the topic. They get dinged sometimes. So this video, we're going to be careful with what we show and say and see if it works out. But bigger rips, when you're talking about using a glass piece, taking a concentrate hit, a flower hit, I'm not really talking about vape pen hits. If you're trying to take a bigger hit on that, you got to upgrade to something else, and it's not going to be another pen. But for flower hits and concentrate hits, I have 3 common tips that I give out, and then in this video I'm going to give you a couple of bonuses at the end. But basically, I'm just going to re-break down the WAP method for you. There's 3 things you want to think about when you're taking a rip, and the first one is water. You want to be hydrated when you're taking your rips. If your throat's dry, if you're thirsty and you take a rip, you're like guaranteed to cough, and you're guaranteed to not be able to take as big of a rip as you can. The key to taking a bigger rip is to make the hit easier, make it smoother. Anything you can do to make it easier and smoother is going to help you to take in more. And hydration is key. If you're dehydrated, you're not going to be able to take as big of a hit compared to as if you're well hydrated. So I talk a lot about sip before you rip. We got merch, we got pillows on it. You can find the link in the description. But sip before you rip is like a quick little splash of water in the same places, or most of the places that the smoke's going to go. It's going to go in your mouth, through your throat, into your lungs. The drier that area is, the worse it is. You don't want water in your lungs, but you want your body to have enough moisture to be able to combat the fact that you're pulling smoke into your lungs. So sip before you rip, but honestly, hydration takes hours. So just drink a lot of water throughout the day. There's so many people drinking soda all throughout the day. They take 1 sip of water before they rip and they're like, it didn't do anything. You're not hydrated. The next one on this list, the second tip, A, is air. I think oxygen is super important, and it's something that I help people with. I have some videos on breathing, how to inhale your hits. I've talked about this in a few different places, but I think being in control of your breath and not being out of breath is a huge factor. Like if you just run a few laps around your house and you try to take a big rip, you're not going to be able to take as big of a rip as if you were just sitting in your chair for 5 minutes. So don't try to take a hit when you're out of breath or when you're catching your breath. But also, I've learned that some people their automatic breathing isn't doing a great job. So when they go from automatic breathing to a rip, maybe their lungs weren't ready for as big of a rip as they could take. So I always tell people, take a few deep breaths. Take slow, deep breaths before your hit. Nice, slow inhale through your nose. Try to do it nice and slow and pull as much oxygen as you can into your lungs. This will help stretch them out. The oxygen's going to help oxygenate your blood. So when you actually go to take the hit, you're not going to feel out of breath. But I do recommend taking a few hits. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Inhale. Make sure you exhale fully. There's a lot of people that exhale 80% of their hit, 80% of their oxygen, and they never get a chance to empty and fill their lungs. So try to do that. Fill your lungs, empty your lungs, fill your lungs, empty your lungs. Nice, slow, deep breaths right before your hit. It's going to help you prepare for that by stretching your lungs out, and it's going to help you prepare for that by giving you oxygen before your hit. Because when you're taking that hit, you're pulling in smoke. You're not pulling in fresh air. So if your body hasn't had a few big hits of fresh air, it's going to be screaming for it. Like, whoa, 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 what's all this smoke doing? I want fresh air. Huge deep breaths before your hit. It'll make a huge difference. And make sure to exhale your hit fully. There's smoke in your lungs. Get it out. The next tip, if you've heard this before, you know, is posture. P for posture. Water, air, and posture. If you're hunched over and you take a rip, you're folding your lungs in half. You're compressing them. You're not giving them enough room to expand. You know how we were talking about filling up our lungs earlier? You got to give them room to fill up. Now, the best posture could typically come from standing, although not everybody is going to want to stand just to take a hit. But you can really stretch your lungs out. You can really open up that rib cage area and give yourself more room to breathe, air or smoke, if you have good posture. If you're hunched over forward. This is why I don't like straight tubes. I like beakers that you can tilt back towards your face. I like a lazy neck piece, so I can sit up straight when I hit it. If you got to hunch over for your piece, you're compromising the amount that you can inhale. So water, air, and posture are key. We know this, but some bonus things that are going to help you get through a bigger hit is I like to use warm water on my pieces. I think it makes a huge difference when combusting flower. It doesn't make as much of a difference when vaping like flower or concentrate, but it still makes enough of a difference that it it could help you get that extra few percent. I will say it does take some getting used to breathing in hits with warm water, because most people prefer cold air or something. But trust me, the warm water is going to help you to take a bigger hit with some practice. Also, a clean piece. I don't think I should have to say it, but I'm going to say, if your piece is dirty, it makes the hit nastier, harsher, and the whole goal is to make it smoother and easier so we can take in more. So a nice clean piece. Using the right piece can help. Sometimes you can increase the size of your hit just by swapping the piece up. If you got some friends to sesh with, maybe try some different pieces out. Make sure they're clean, but try some different things out. Something might work better for you. I like a nice standard beaker, and I can take big old rips off of them. Also, this is another kind of obvious one, but people need to hear quality of material. Lower quality stuff can just end up being harsher and not give you as good of a hit as you want. And also, practice can be a factor. You don't want to just willy-nilly jump into the biggest hit you've ever taken. It's like going to the gym. You got to work out, increase your reps, increase your weight, pack a little bit more into that bowl, a little bit more into that bowl. Make sure that you can really handle the whole bowl, because if you try to take a hit bigger than you're ready for it, you might just start coughing up a ton. Leave some comments and let us know what you do for bigger rips. I know a lot of people read through the comments and they find some good information in there. Also, if you want to know more about inhaling, I think it's one of the most important things. If you can control your breathing, if you can control your breathing before, during, and after your hit, it's going to help the whole process. Check out this video on how to actually inhale. It's going to help you in a few different scenarios here. Have a lit day, my dudes.